Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Today, I want to discuss the things that are not really talked about when it comes to the GT-R. If you're like I was before I bought this car, you're either watching these videos because you're thinking about buying one and you want to learn everything there is about the car before you commit, or you're just a huge fan of the GT-R and you want to learn everything there is to know about the car. Back when I was first still looking at getting the GT-R, I had a Supra and I was trying to learn as much about the car before I really decided to commit to buying it. And so I watched all the videos, I was on the Facebook pages, even some of the old forums. And the first time I went to go take a look at a GT-R, I thought I knew everything there was to know about the car. I was actually wrong. There's a few things that for some reason nobody's really talked about in any of their other videos. So I'm going to tell you what those are in this one. We're going to start here in the back of the car. If you've seen any other professional reviewer do a thing on this GT-R, inevitably they always end up back here and they always talk about the exhaust. They come back here and they're like, wow, look how big this exhaust is. It's so huge, I can fit my whole fist in it. And it makes it look like this car's got just a huge exhaust from the factory, and that's not true. Yeah, the exhaust tips looks like they're about 5 inches in diameter, but if you look inside, you're gonna see the actual exhaust tubing, and it looks like it's only about 2 inches here at the end. It's just the exhaust tips that are so huge, and as we all know, just the tip doesn't count. Either way, this was something that I discovered when I went to go see the car, and I thought it was something I'd let you know that, even though everyone makes it look like it has this huge 5-inch exhaust from the turbo all the way back, that's not the case. The next feature it seems like nobody really talks about in their videos is the rear view mirrors. This car actually comes with the power fold-up mirrors. With just the flip of a switch, the rear view mirrors fold up. Now, I'm sure that's not something you're terribly excited about, but for me, it's kind of a cool feature because before I've had this GT-R, I did own an R32 GT-R for about 3 years, and it had the same feature. So to me, it kind of gives me a throwback to my R32 and just shows the lineage of this GT-R to the Skyline line. It's also quite practical because I live in Los Angeles, and for some reason, the parking spaces here in LA are always just on the scotch too small. In my case, I am still apartment living, and the guy who parks next to me has a pickup truck that is just ridiculously large for anything you'd want in Los Angeles. I mean, I refer to it as a small dick mobile because nobody in Los Angeles should have a truck that big that doesn't wear a Stetson on a daily basis. He also has a really bad habit of parking closer to my parking space than the space on the other hand, so sometimes it gets kind of tight for me to get in and out and to my car. Being able to fold up the mirrors easily like this means I can get by my car easily, and it also gives me the assurance that when he's trying to squeeze by his truck in my car, he's not constantly bumping into my rearview mirror. So like I said, that's just one thing that seems like nobody talks about that I kind of get a kick out of. The next thing that kind of surprised me about the GT-R when I finally went to see one in person was the ride height. To be honest, I'd seen a lot of videos where people were putting coilovers on this car, and so I thought it was going to sit high just like all the other cars I've owned before. My Supra itself actually had a 4-finger wheel gap before I put on some Tay-in coilovers and dropped it. So I was really shocked to find that this car's got a 1-finger wheel gap stock. Also, the front end sits really, really low. As you can see, it has only got about a 5.5-inch ground clearance, which means even in its stock configuration, the front lip will hit when going in and out of certain driveways. As you can see from underneath the lip, the damage that I'm not the only one that's had this issue. I've only had this car for about 3 months, and it's obvious that previous owners of this car have also had scraping issues. So I'm worried that if I lowered this car even more, it'd create an even bigger issue. So that's one thing that kind of shocked me was this car sits so low, and originally I thought I was gonna have to put on coilovers. I don't think so. I think I'm gonna leave it at the stock ride height because it's pretty darn low, and the stock suspension on this is actually really good. One of the things it seems like nobody talks about when it comes to driving the car is just how much it hates reverse. Now, of course, when you put the car into reverse, you get that beeping, and of course, other channels have talked about that. But when you actually start moving, this car does not like reverse at all. It feels like that front differential just wants to fight you, especially once you start turning and going in reverse. It just feels like this car just doesn't want to do it. So that was something that I learned about the first time I drove one. One of the things I discovered the first time I drove this car, and it seems like nobody talks about it for some reason, is that if you put the transmission in both manual and R mode. And when you downshift, the car rev matches for you. To get that effect, you used to have to heel toe, and the GT-R does it for you. And there it is. Those are some things I discovered about the GT-R for the first time when I finally went to see one in person, despite all the videos I had seen beforehand. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, go ahead and click that thumbs up button to let me know you like it. It does help the channel out a lot. If you want to see more GT-R content in the future, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I can tell you the first modification is coming, and I can't wait to show you what it is. You can also follow me on all forms of social media, which include Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I'll leave links to those in the description down below. If you had an experience like I did, where you went to go see one of these GT-Rs for the first time and you discovered something new that you didn't know about beforehand, go ahead and post in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all out on the road.